What is up and what's happening, Auburn fans? Welcome into the 25th edition of Auburn Primetime Live. The Auburn Tigers are 1-0, and Hugh Freeze had his weekly presser addressing the Auburn Tigers' victory. And we're headed to Jordan-Hare Stadium, undefeated, at night against Ball State. We barely missed out on the AP Top 25. Barely. I felt like we should have been ranked, y'all. I really do. But I will take. Daniel. Come on, dog. I will take a 1-0 start against Baylor because we all know how massive it was. But I know you better be joking, Daniel. Don't bring that in here. Don't bring that in here, man. Let's have positive vibes, not negative vibes. But look, um, I think it's massive that you get in front of your home crowd. There's a lot of positive vibes going around Auburn right now, y'all. There is a lot of smiling from Hugh Freeze. There's a lot. There's a lot of things coming out of this program. A lot of talking points from the media, the talking heads, and they're really high on Auburn. I did a member pod today, released it this morning about Auburn being in the college football playoff bracketology after week one. They're the first four out. Like, I know Andy Staples did it, but like it's still something to look at and be like, hey, this is completely different than the previous 2 years. And what if we would have lost? What if we would have lost that week one matchup? So there's a lot of there's a lot different feeling in Auburn right now around this football program. Mike says that's BS, Blake, on the ranking. Yeah, I felt like with all the positive vibes that Baylor got through the offseason and how highly they were talked about uh, regarding the Big 12 conference and they could potentially win the Big 12 title, and we beat them by 2 scores, and the line in Vegas was 2.5. So it kept flip flopping back and forth, and so Vegas really didn't know who they wanted, right? And Auburn, I felt like Auburn dominated the football game. Did Baylor? Me and Brett talked about this earlier. Did Baylor gain more yards? Yes, but Auburn also had a kick return, so Baylor got an extra possession. And so we were laughing about that a little bit earlier when we were texting back and forth, Brett. Uh, so, yeah, Sawyer Robertson, great QB and all that. But I felt like Auburn dominated the game. And especially after that kick return, I was like, okay, Auburn's not losing this game. That's lights out, y'all. And so to see us come in at number 27, I understand what Utah did to UCLA, but I think Baylor is far more better than UCLA. I'm not sold on Nico. I'm going to leave you. I don't think UCLA is a good football team. I think if Auburn was to play UCLA, it would have been just as bad, possibly worse. And so I think Baylor is way better than a UCLA. And Auburn getting slighted kind of felt a little bit more disrespect. But my point to that is I kind of like the disrespect. I'm okay with it coming in at 27. You don't have to like us. You don't have to rank us because we got 2 more weeks to get better before we go out to Norman, Oklahoma. Brett says, War Damn fan. War Damn fam, how we doing? What's up, Brett? Daniel, I talked about that. Yeah, we're joking. We better be, brother. When we passed the ball on Friday, I thought we looked just average. How? How, Daniel? How did we look just average? The biggest play of the game, Daniel, was a Jackson Arnold to the sticks to Horatio Fields. He gets to the sticks. He wins the top of the route. Hugh talked about it in the presser. It was a great throw on time. Horatio catches the football and battles 2 yards for a first down. How are we just average? We did everything right besides the opening drive. And guess what? It's the first game of the year, Daniel. It's the first game of the year. And it was a little sluggish on the opening drive. Where did we look average? Are you talking about the ball to Malcolm up the seam? So we're going to be mad that we're behind the sticks. We're behind the sticks, and Jackson puts a ball on Malcolm. If he leads Malcolm, there's a big possibility that that ball is picked off. Instead, he throws it right into his chest, and we pick up a gain of, 26? And we get a first down? What are we mad about? What are we mad about with Cam to the sideline? Jackson throws it up. Was it a hair underthrown? Okay, that's fine. Let Cam Coleman go up and make a play. Because I said this the other night. Somebody was like, oh, well, you got to lead him there. Well, if you lead him, you throw the ball out of bounds, or it's an even tougher catch for Cam. I thought Jackson played great. Daniel, why are we in here saying that it was just average? Was there a massive sample size? No, there wasn't. I think that's what you're trying to say, is it wasn't a massive sample size. But to say it was just average, Jackson did everything he needed to do. Because guess what? He didn't turn the ball over. So that's a win. That's a win. He made one mistake all night. And that was the pressure that they brought right before half. That was the only mistake he made all night. Auburn recovered from it. They got out of the half. It didn't go disastrous. That's something that wouldn't have happened in 2024. I thought he played a magnificent game. I really do. We'll get to Hugh in just a second and what he had to say in the presser. Absolutely no need to throw the football when Baylor wouldn't get out of two high safeties. For sure, Donnie. And it's crazy. It's crazy, in my opinion, to say Jackson looked just average. I thought he was sharp. I thought he was crisp. I thought he had a command of the offense. And I thought he made really, really solid decisions. There was that the ball where he was trying to get it to Singleton out in the flat. You know, he comes in motion and he rubs off our tight end and he's getting out into the flat, and Jackson was like, I don't know if I should throw it. Let me take off. Bang. It was, hey, I don't really like it. Let me go. Let me get something positive out of this play. I thought he looked awesome. Ja puts the ball any other place than where he did to Malcolm. It's picked off. I agree. Then what do you say, Daniel Downer? Man, get lost, please. I don't get it, man. Like, we have a guy that I think he understands the quarterback position. And War Damn Eagle Hunters, how you doing, man? Hell of a game it was that. I don't know why we don't have to be negative. We don't have to be negative on Jackson. I think Jackson played great. I thought he was fantastic. Hold on. Let me get here. Let me get through here. I mean, I wish we threw the ball. Well, we didn't have to, Daniel. We didn't have to. And Hugh actually talked about that. So let's get to Hugh's presser right here. Mike says, man, his confidence is through the roof. You will see him rip it. I agree 100%. I'm 100% down with that. I think he's very excited to have that fresh start at Auburn. And you can see it with the touchdown celebration for Auburn to go up 7-3. You could see the pressure just uplifted off his shoulders, and Jackson say, okay, I'm good now. Like, let's go play ball. I feel great. And you could see the smile through the face mask, man. That's just Puddles. He's in everybody's chat listening. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. I thought Jackson played great. So let's move on to I'll start there. I'll start there with Jackson. You know, they asked you about Jackson's confidence and how he commanded the offense. And Hugh said, hey, look, he looked great. We couldn't have asked of anything better. We couldn't have asked more out of Jackson. He played an A-plus game. Because what did Hugh say before he went out to Baylor? We have to end every possession in a kick. And we did that. We didn't turn the ball over. And guess what? Baylor was hoping and praying that we would put one on the turf. They were hoping and praying. That's why they didn't come out of two high safeties all night. because they were hoping that Auburn would bust one and then bang, and Arkansas would happen. And we would fumble out the end zone or something like that. They were just hoping and praying that Auburn would make a mistake, and you never did. I just mentioned the great read from Jackson Arnold there with Singleton. He made many others. I thought he had some good throws to Preston Howard. The throw to Horatio Fields. He didn't have to go out there and throw for 500 yards like Sawyer Robertson did. Just go out there and manage the offense. What did we say going into this thing? And I think this is great. Every time I hear Hugh Freeze talk about it, you have the keys to a luxury vehicle. Just don't run it off the cliff. That's it. Don't run it off the cliff. Just go out there, Damari and Cobb, hand it to them and let them tote the load against a team like Baylor, who's daring you to run the football. Now, Hugh did say we're going to face some more stacked boxes, and there's going to be a time where we're going to have to draw back and we're going to have to throw the football. But guess what? We got the weapons to do it. We have the weapons to do it. It's not like this is 2022 Auburn. This isn't like it's 2023 Auburn. We have the weapons to beat people over the top. I'm not concerned about Auburn's offense. Guess what? I'm not concerned about Auburn's defense. I think you played a lot of puppies against Baylor. I think you had a lot of rotating pieces against Baylor. I think some bit you. You did have some busted coverages. I think Caleb Harris has got to be better. I expect more out of Caleb Harris. I expect more out of him. You are a starter. You are a second-year guy. I don't care if you're a sophomore. I expect you to play like a senior. I expect more out of him. Champ going down with the broken thumb. I like hearing that he didn't even press it. He didn't even know about it until the adrenaline wore off after the game. He said, "Hey, I got a broke thumb." He was out there to win a game, man. Champ Anthony is a warrior. He's a dog. He is the pirate. I'm huge on Champ Anthony. I think, did he have some mistakes? Yes. Did he have some missed tackles? Yes. Do we need him to play better? Yes. When is he going to come back? Who knows? Who knows? I think I was told a pretty good idea, but I'm not going to release that because it's not for this show. But I'm not worried about the Auburn defense. I think DJ is going to get things right. I think he's going to get the guys that need to be on the field and get them more snaps and get them even more comfortable. And you're not going to see Auburn play 28 guys every single Saturday. You're not going to see that. So they released, 34 on the depth chart. You're not going to see 28 guys every single Saturday. So I'm not worried. Do I think the linebackers need to play a little bit better in the passing game? Yes. Yes, I do. Do I think we defended the run well? Yes, I think the D-line, and Hugh mentioned it in his presser, the D-line controlled the line of scrimmage. They absolutely shut Baylor down. They turned Baylor one-dimensional as ever, and that is all we heard about was Baylor's going to run the football. They got Bryson Washington. They got a 1,000-yard runner. They got an All-American back there. They got this Knighton kid who's an absolute star. No, they got turned one-dimensional. A big reason why was Keldrick Falk. Go out and he said, "Hey, I'm a mock top 10 draft pick." Well, I'm going to show you. Instead of mocking it, I'm going to show you why I'm a top 10 draft pick. Safeties do need work, Brett. Safeties do need work. I really felt like that fourth down call from Spavital where he just froze Caleb and Champ couldn't recover. That was, I'll be straight up, I was embarrassed by that one. I said, "Whew, that's rough. That is rough." We had real problems covering Trigg, which I think a lot of people in America are going to have problems covering him. I think a lot of people in America are going to have problems with covering that dude. He's an SEC player. I know he started out at Ole Miss, but he is a Southeastern Conference tight end. He's an NFL tight end. So I'm just not gonna panic about the defense just yet. Now, if we get into Oklahoma and Texas A&M and we're still getting diced up, then I'll start to panic a little bit. One thing I do want to see better is tackling. I do want to see us wrap up a little bit more. I do want to see us stop the big time gains, man, from not tackling in the open field. Y'all know how big I am on DBs coming down and laying the boom, but we also got to wrap up when we do that, and we got to stop the extending of plays where 13-yard gains end up being 30-yard gains. I think that is I think that was a big difference in springing Baylor and giving them a little bit of confidence. Yeah, it's not every week you'll see a 6'7", 230-pound tight end. That is a fact, and that is why everybody was worried. And I'm like, look, that dude is an NFL player, man, and I just don't know who has another one of those on their roster that we're going to see. I know Georgia has great tight ends, but not only was Trigg, not only was he great, they could do multiple things with him, and they could split him out, man. You saw him with that little kind of like a little jump ball type action right there down on the goal line, and there's so many things that he could do besides just work in the middle of the field, man. They kind of used him like Auburn used Fairweather. Like they were really good with highlighting him, and I think Auburn was focusing so much on him at times, it got Auburn beat over the top. And so I don't think you're going to see too many guys like him and have to worry about that as much as you did Baylor. And I think another thing, y'all, the way Baylor spread us out and some of their route concepts, I don't know if you're going to see offenses like that in the SEC week in and week out. Like, I went back and watched the game, and I was like, man, these dudes were really, really good. And I apologize, I did not think they were that good. I did not think they were that good. You're right. You're right. 100%, Ernest. He was a difference maker, man. Like, they're going to win a lot of football games. A lot of football games. And I think they're a really good team. I just think their defense is going to hold them back if they make it to the college football playoffs, because their defense in the Big 12 will get stops because that's the type of football it's built for. So, yeah, I think they're really good. And I think Auburn not being in the top 25 is kind of a bummer to me, because I said 2 weeks before the game, if Auburn wins, they're going to the top 25. And what's crazy is somebody got blown out and they're still in the top 25. So we'll talk about that another day. Hugh said he's got to be more prepared. He's got to be more prepared. He's got to him and DJ were not prepared enough. He said there were a couple of receivers that went under the radar, and then Trigg went under the radar. And he wasn't prepared enough for those guys. He also said that he felt like Auburn was a little tired. He didn't know if practice was a little difficult, if the nutrition was right. Was it the Texas heat? Was it the first game of the season? Look, I think it was the first game of the season. You're going to see some jitters. You're going to see some things not go your way. I tell you this, I think Rashawn Pleasant looked pretty quick. And so I think that's why they rotated a lot of guys, man, is because they were wanting to stay as fresh as possible. And he said, we get a stop at the end of the game and nobody's excited because they're just like, hey, we're dog tired. We're dog tired. So I think they got to figure that out, and Hugh and that coaching staff and nutritionists and all that, they'll get it right, man. They'll get it right. He talked about penalties. Penalties, got to clean up the penalties. He talked about the cadence. They had to scrap those after the 2 false starts, one by Mason Murphy and then one by Xavier Chaplin. He did highlight Too Tall, man, coming in and absolutely moving people. And one thing I do love about this entire press conference was he mentioned that Too Tall could have been a crybaby, could have been a powder. And I'm like, you know what? I've been a starter the last 2 years, and now I'm not starting. So I'm gonna get out of here. And he didn't. He's like, hey, I'm gonna play this 6 man, and wherever you need me. And hey, guess what? Game 1, your number's called. Bang. You go in and you make a difference. I think those are the guys that you need to flip your program and have a winning season and turn it all around. You got to have guys like Too Tall. That's where it starts. How many games will Bama? We'll get on that. I want to keep it about Auburn first. Do you think Auburn comes out throwing the ball against Ball State? I do. I think Auburn comes out. I also think you're going to see very little of Damari. Hugh mentioned the shoulder. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of Damari. You might see a couple carries, and Auburn kind of move it down the field a little bit. They score, and then I think Damari's day might be done if you see him hardly at all. I think you're going to see a lot of Cobb. I think you're going to see a lot of Robinson. I think you might see a little bit of Mabson. Ball State's terrible. They're awful. They're horrible. They lost 31-0 to Purdue. So go air it out a little bit. Get things right. I want it to look crisp, though. I don't want it to look forced, because last year at times we would force it a little bit and we would throw something up and they'd be like, oh, Sam Jackson catches it in the end zone. I'm like, brother, that ain't happening in the SEC, man. I want it to look crisp. Roll, Tears, roll. I see you up there. It was 104 degrees on the playing surface. Sweet mercy, it was hot. Yeah, that's what there's just a week 1 environment that we weren't used to. We went and got a dub. Get out of there. Let's worry about everything else moving forward. Malcolm almost messed that up when Buddy almost pushed him into Pleasant. But I tell you what, and my buddy Brett wanted to highlight some hustle plays. And I think this is a great time to lead us into this. This is a great time to lead us into this. One was the Baylor, they threw a wide receiver screen on 2nd and 20 with 4:11 left in the third quarter. And Keldrick with the chase down of the wide receiver, and it was 30 yards downfield. And that's a winning championship play. Shout out to Brett for sending me these and reminding me. That is a winning championship play, and that is a leader. That is a guy that loves Auburn. He wants Auburn to win, and he doesn't give up on the play, and he goes downfield and makes it, right? So I wanted to highlight that one. And then, obviously, the kick return. The thing about Malcolm is he's the one who got out and gave Pleasant that lane, right? He made it to where, like, hey, ain't nobody getting him, because Malcolm absolutely splits him. And once he gets next to Rayshon, it's a wrap. He's like, hey, you're to the crib, because if I got to put a block on, I'm here. And I'm going to take two birds out in one stone. So the hustle by Malcolm was electric, because you see him. I mean, he just ran smooth by the kicker like he was sitting still. That's speed, baby. That is speed. I thought it was great, man. Just great. I thought Auburn just they come to play. It was the best win we've seen in a minute. Bama will lose to Wisconsin. Ernest, if they lose to Wisconsin, they got problems, brother. What is whacker, man? I don't know what you're talking about. Did we already talk about Keldrick and Coach Freeze? Okay. Yeah, Devin, I thought this was absolutely electric. I thought it was one of the best pieces of work Auburn has put together from the social media team in quite some time. When Keldrick said, "Yo, whose plate are we eating off of?" Like they were like, "No crumbs, no crumbs," and he said, "Man, I'm hungry. I want to eat off somebody's plate." And Hugh looked at me and said, "Well, I want to eat off their plate." Keldrick looked up and he said, "Coach, you want to eat off their plate?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "That's what I'm talking about, Coach. That's what I'm talking about." Yo, it got chills when I watched it this morning. I had chills. And I just kept rewinding it, watching it. Because Keldrick looked at him like, "Man, you got the same thing. Like, you want to do the same thing we want to do." There's different vibes in that locker room. I'm telling you. There's different vibes, man. It's not the same Auburn team. It's not the same Auburn team. Banana Ball in Plainsman Park. Who's all a fan of Banana Ball? Who's all a fan of Banana Ball? Raise your hand. I like the exposure that Plainsman Park's going to get. I really do. I like the exposure. I like the exposure that it's going to get. I can tell you this about Auburn, too. From what I saw moving forward into Ball State, is Auburn has dogs. And that is one of the main things I was worried about. When I watch football teams play, who has the dogs that are going to step up? And Auburn's got dogs. Rayshawn even said, "Hey, I got to clean it up a little bit on the back end. I had the kick return, but I got to clean it up at corner just a touch. And I'm going to have some pick sixes if I just clean it up." Auburn's got some dudes, man. Still not sure how you feel about the banana ball. I thought it was dumb at first, but it's kind of growing on me. Okay, here's the thing for me. This is a little bit off, but I think it's cool to highlight Auburn baseball for a second. Is Savannah Bananas are for kids. Okay, I'm a huge baseball guy. All of you know that right here, babe. Love me some Auburn baseball. It is for children. It is like exactly. It's the Harlem Globetrotters. So when I was a kid, I always thought the Globetrotters were absolutely sick. They would come to the Mitchell Center at South Alabama, and I would go and I would watch the Globetrotters, and I was like, "Oh man, how they do these tricks!" Just loved it. And then I found out it wasn't real, and then I was like, "Huh." And next thing I know, LeBron James comes along, and I'm 12 years old, and then Brett, he's still in the NBA today, and he's still doing it. So, uh, banana ball is that for my daughter. She thinks it's pretty dang cool. Levi, when he gets old enough, I'm sure if it's still around, he'll think it's pretty dang cool too. There's a lot of adults out there who are like, "Oh, banana ball is stupid." Yeah, we probably do think it's stupid because it's for children. So that's the way I look at it. And I had to throw LeBron out there for my guy Brett. But where was yeah, there's Mike's comment. You can tell by the look Hugh had on the sideline during the game that the demeanor is different. I tell y'all this, go watch I think Auburn football posted it on TikTok. I reposted it. Go watch when Rayshawn is running the kickback, the sideline. Go watch the sideline, and Hugh turns around and he's like, "Let's freaking go, baby." And they're all going crazy. It's just different over there. I don't think you saw those things the previous 2 years. You didn't get that mindset from these kids and these coaches because I truly think it's different. And we can talk about culture, because I think if you look up the road in the state, there's a different type of culture. There's things coming out about that program. You see it on the field with laziness. I would say something else, but I'm gonna keep my French low tonight. But it's laziness. There's clips of Emmanuel Acho breaking down film and pointing out a highly touted safety jogging across the field to the football. There's culture in a locker room, and I think the culture is different at Auburn this year than it has been in previous years. I truly believe that. And it starts with, guess what? Athletes. Man, you go get them athletes and they buy into what a Marcus Davis is preaching at wide receiver. You go get these athletes who buy into what Derek Nix is preaching at running back, and so on and so forth, and the DBs, and we could keep going and on and on and on. You go get those cats, and you buy in to what the head coach and these position coaches are preaching, and you're eventually going to turn it around. You're eventually going to turn it around. Just different times over there. Just different times. I don't think they lose to ULM. If they do, he's fired. If they do, he's getting fired. Well, Auburn dad, I he's not getting fired unless something catastrophic happens. But I can tell you this: there's live betting odds of who Alabama's next coach will be. So it's the seat is hot. And what's crazy to me is they spent all offseason talking about Hugh Freeze and Hugh Freeze this and Hugh Freeze that, right? And you didn't worry about your week 1 matchup against Florida State. No, you were worried about Hugh Freeze throwing the visor when you should have been worried about Gus Bus's visor. And now you're 0-1 and Auburn is 1-0. I don't know. I mean, it looked like he kind of got hit, Ernest. It looked like, I thought his hand was more messed up than a concussion, but I don't know. Yeah, it's not actual baseball, entertainment purposes, only while they're trying to keep the league competitive. For sure. That's all it is. That's all it is, man. When you have a guy with a Teletubby getting off the bus, you know there's something not right. It's just different. I don't think you're going to see stuff like that from Auburn this year. I really don't. I think there's a different mindset. We'll have a preview of Ball State Thursday. I'll get on here and discuss some of that. And then look for me on the Auburn Wire Saturday morning. I'm doing my thoughts on the game. So when they release that, I'll share it out, man, retweet it, send it in the group, whatever I got to do. Check me out over there. So hopefully that goes well. And we'll get out of here for tonight. And, hey, be pumped up, man. Jordan-Hare Stadium at night. Hugh Freeze said it best. We get to go home, baby. We get to go play in front of our fans, and the Auburn Tigers are going to be fired up. This fan base is going to be fired up. Man, be loud, be proud. Go let them hear you in Jordan-Hare Stadium. Love y'all. Wish y'all well, man. See y'all Thursday night. Go check out that member pod, by the way, and if you want to become a member, go check it out on the page. Somebody deleted my graphic, so I can't pull it up, unfortunately. But love y'all. See y'all later, man. War Damn Eagle, I'm out.